All right, what was the other one that you sent me to watch? Fat electrician reviews Gurkhas. Okay.
Today we're talking about Gurkhas. But first, this episode is brought to you by an anonymous CB that wanted to give a shout out to
I thought it was a YouTube short.
Thanks.
It's not a YouTube
if you
short.
Don't know, Gurkhas fight for the British military, aka America Original Recipe, aka America Classic. And while they fight for the British military, they are from Nepal. Come from small villages at high altitudes in the Alpine
everything's
Mountains.
crashing
With an
and
average
dying.
weight of 150 pounds and the average height of 5'3", Gurkhas tend to be smaller in stature. But like Mark Twain said, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, it's about the size of the fight in the dog. Gurkhas can be identified by two unique characteristics. One being this hat canted to the side, known as a tarai. And two, the kukri. A large curved blade approximately 18 inches long that they carry with them at all times.
Legend
has it
kukri.
that when the kukri becomes unsheathed, it must draw blood. So if a Gurkha draws it for something besides stacking bodies, they will actually cut their own fingers to draw blood to honor that tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress enough that the Gurkhas are absolutely deadly with the kukri. They are the only men on the planet that can bring a knife to a gunfight and win. And that's not me being clever. It's actually happened.
That's
In World War
crazy.
II, the Gurkhas were going up against the Germans and the Gurkhas ran out of ammo. At which point they drew their kukris, yelled Io Grekale, and bum-rushed a fortified machine gun position and proceeded to unalive everybody in it. If you don't know, Io Grekale is what the Gurkhas yell when they're about to do some gangster shit. It translates as, the Gurkhas are upon you. If you are a bad guy and you hear Io Grekale, the best possible thing that's going to happen to you next is they name a salad after you. If you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you you're about to get shanked. I don't know how many times, but it's going to be a lifetime supply. The official motto of the Gurkhas is, it is better to die than to be a coward.
Damn!
That is why whenever the
That's
Gurkhas make the headlines, it
crazy.
is for the most ridiculous shit ever. For example, how about that time in World War II when 3 Gurkhas went toe-to-toe with 200 Japanese soldiers, held the line for 4 hours, and forced the Japanese to retreat?
There is no way that's true. There is no way that's true. Wait, what? There's no shot. Hold on, I'm gonna grok this one. I'm grokking it. We're grokking this one. Wait, hold up. That's crazy. Did 3 Gurkhas fight off 200 Japanese soldiers in World War II? Come on, bro. That's crazy. Yes! Well-documented account of a single Gurkha soldier, rifleman Lachman Gurung, who effectively fought off an attack by approximately 200 Japanese soldiers during World War II. That's crazy. Part of a small post guarding position 100 meters from the main British line, his unit was tasked with defending against the Japanese forces. At around 1:20 a.m., over 200 Japanese soldiers launched a fierce assault on Gurung's position. Gurung and 2 other Gurkha soldiers were manning a trench when the attacks begun. Gurkha threw back 2 grenades that landed in the trench. Oh, Lord! That's insane. Wow. Verified and celebrated. And he survived it! Better to die than live as a coward. God damn, that is crazy. Holy moly. Jeebus Philebus, that's insanity. I just closed the fucking tab. I'm a retard. Hold on. Let's find that again. Hold up.
Today we're talking about Gurkhas. That is why whenever the Gurkhas make the headlines, it is for the most ridiculous shit ever. For example, how about that time in World War II when 3 Gurkhas went toe-to-toe with 200 Japanese soldiers, held the line for 4 hours, and forced the Japanese to retreat?
Oh my
How about
Lord.
that time in 2010 when an unknown amount of Taliban insurgents ambushed a single Gurkha? He fought all night long, sustaining 0 injuries.
What?
But when the sun came up, there was 30 dead bodies in the front yard.
Dude, that's insane. I never even heard of these guys. I mean, like, I heard of them vaguely as, like, a platoon or some shit. I didn't realize they were, like, oh, my God. These are, like, the greatest soldiers that ever lived.
30! That is the largest earthworm amusement park known to man. Or, my personal favorite, a retired Gurkha was returning home on a train. That train was then boarded by a gang of 40 men with guns and knives. The men then began robbing the train of their jewelry, cell phones, and money. But when those men decided that they were going to take advantage of a young woman on the train, that Gurkha had seen enough. At which point he pulled out the old slippery boomerang, started opening up bad guys like they were Amazon packages, putting 3 of them in a permanent underground timeout, and injuring 8 more before the rest fled. Yeah.
Dude went up, a retired man with a kukri went up against 40 armed men.
I guess you could say I'm pretty happy these guys weren't fighting for the British in 1776. Because if they were, I might be doing stuff in tents and drinking metric leaf water for fun.
Lord.
In conclusion,
Yeah, true.
if you ever hear the words Io Gurkhale, you should lay down and pretend to be dead. Otherwise, you're going to find out the hard way these guys can't believe you're not butter. Thank you for watching.
That is crazy. That's crazy. I'm shocked. Oh my god. Holy moly. These guys were monsters. Are Gurkhas, like, still around? Gurkhas. Damn. Soldiers native to the Indian subcontinent, chiefly residing within Nepal and some parts of North India. Holy shit, these guys are scary. My god. These guys are monsters. Holy moly. All right, well, that's an interesting piece of history. Fish